welcome to Bears Banter. My name is Bernard Muhammad. Tonight on the broadcast, you have Guy Moore. You have Keith Flournoy. We have Jay Beasley. And we have Tammy celebrating her birthday in some exotic place.
Birthday first lady. Undisclosed location.
Happy birthday, first lady.
Happy birthday.
Hey, it's funny because I was thinking about that when you said that. Like, Mike still want his caramel cake.
Excuse me, Dr. Quick.
Dr. Quick.
Hey,
Right, he Dr. Quick now, so he really want his caramel cake. He
Right.
Dr. Quick now, so he really want his caramel cake. Like, hey, I'm a doctor.
I'm a doctor, right?
Right.
Dr. Quick.
And he'll make all the disclaimers for the calories because he knows what's in it.
Right.
Hey, how y'all doing tonight?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I'd like to thank
Pretty
everybody
good.
who's watching us on YouTube, Facebook, and tonight we are going back on Twitch TV again. So we'd like to thank everybody who's tuned in tonight for the pregame show of Chicago Bears versus the Dallas Cowboys. I guess we could start with one of the breaking news that happened yesterday where the Bears traded Robert Quinn and Plank on cue.
Stealing money.
You ain't even hear no more.
Hey,
Well,
hey,
anytime
y'all
they
have any
paying you,
opinions on the Robert Quinn trade?
you know I do.
What you have,
Anytime.
Mike?
Now, first of all, I'm glad that he did a good job for the Bears. As far as being a locker room guy, doing giving some leadership and things like that, showing people how to be a pro. But he was off on every year that he played with the Bears. He either get 2 sacks a year or 9 sacks a year. This year he got 1 sack, 8 tackles, and everybody's really complaining about why they let him go. One of the reasons that they let him go was to make sure they can make way to develop the rookies that are behind him. Those rookies are going to be the foundation for the team for the next 10 years, if we're lucky. So Robert Quinn, I wish him nothing but the best. It's interesting, though, that the Philadelphia Eagles aren't paying his salary and already told him that he's a free agent after this year. So as much as we're over-evaluating our the guys that are on our team, you have to see what the market is asking for them. Everybody else is saying that he's not worth first or second round draft choice. As a matter of fact, we wouldn't have got a 4th if Ryan Poles didn't do some Ledger Dumaine and some magic tricks. So I wish him well. I hope he does win competes well and gets to finish his career the way that he wants to. But I think this was a great move by Ryan Poles.
Okay, Plank. So you could take his sacks. He had a great year last year, and he had 1 this year. How many he have in 2020? Was it 4? You said?
I believe.
I think
I think he
he had 2.
had 2 sacks in 2020.
Okay,
and I think it was a great move because we rebuilding. As much as they don't want to say it, we are rebuilding, and he's not part of the future. He's 32 years old. He had the voidable 2 years on the end of his deal, and the Bears agreed to pay his salary for the remainder of this year, which is why they wind up getting a 4th round pick. Because if had that not happened, they probably would have wound up getting a 6th round pick. So it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Hey. He wasn't causing no havoc. Like Plank said, he had 1 sack, he had 8 tackles, and a quarterback, and I think he had 4 quarterback pressures, 5 quarterback pressures, or something like that. But Robert Quinn is one of those guys where if he ain't got somebody on the other side that's gonna take the pressure off of him for him to flourish. He had Khalil Mack last year, who only played a few games, but he had Akeem Hicks. So he was able to, he wasn't being double teamed. This year he was being double teamed, and we saw what the result was. But it's cool because the bottom line is, like I said, we are rebuilding, and we want to see these young guys. I want to see a Dominique Robinson. I want to see Trevor Gibson play a little bit more. So not a big deal. Not a big deal at all.
okay. You had any comments on that guy as far as Robert Quinn?
Yeah, I do. You know what? Let's keep it on. You know what cracks me up? I kind of made a joke about it. I'm not going to even go into it, but like a guy like Sun Tzu, everybody talks about, oh, I love Machiavelli, I love Sun Tzu and all that stuff, but they're proud of stuff like this. I mean, think about it. You got to look at it. We are rebuilding. Why would you have a 32-year-old guy whose numbers are like zigzagging like this, and you're trying to develop some newer cats? It's no disrespect to Robert Quinn. I mean, the greatest thing about it for him is you look at it, he's going to a team that could conceivably go to the Super Bowl. You never know, but that's neither here nor there. If you got a guy like him and you got some younger guys you got to develop, you got to have to think maybe a year or two, he's not going to be there anyway. So why not move him and try to position yourself to get some draft picks or something that you can build him? I mean, I wish him well. I don't have anything negative to say about him. I'm not going to sit there and talk about him having an up-down season. Appreciate his time. Good luck with the Eagles, and let's keep building.
And not only that, he's going to be a situational player in Philadelphia.
Right.
So it's not like we gave up this young 26, 27-year-old guy that's going to flourish in another system. So, he's 32 years old. And God bless him. And Poles did right by him, by letting him go to a contender. And so this is not a big deal. This is not a big deal. I wish him well. And, he'll probably wind up getting the sack on us when we play them in December. But, I mean, this dude got 8 tackles in 7 games. So, I mean, it's all right. It's all right.
Yeah. I thought he had a great year last year. I think if you take his average and he played 16, I think he played 16 games his first year. Didn't contribute much. He played 17 last year. He played 7. That's roughly about 35 games. And if you could take the total number of sacks he had, averaging out, that's basically about 8 sacks, 7 sacks a
7
year.
sacks a season.
Yeah. But he's not even getting tackles in the run game, so that's why his tackle stats are so low. But you know what? I have to give Poles credit because Poles have traded guys this year that he traded to respectable places too.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't do like what they did in Minnesota years back when they traded Randy Moss
to
the Raiders. I mean, he got traded to possible Super Bowl contender in the Eagles, right? So that's a great situation for him. He maybe end up being rewarded at the end of the season. Even like Matt got traded in, what looked like a favorable situation in the Chargers.
It
So
ain't looking good for them, though.
But you know what? Another thing too, a lot of people may not look at it. I don't know if it's by design. A player would be more likely to give Poles a little more, I would say, leverage if there's like a little point in there that they were trying to do something, because they look and say, well, dang, how does he treat the players that he let go? There's some guys, like I say, you a dog. They send you somewhere. They send you to Colgate College or something. He's sending these guys to some pretty nice spots. And I think a lot of times, I mean, and I know a lot of guys about the money, but then there's a respect factor too. He's sent Robert Quinn to the Eagles, to a contender. So I do think as little as it may be, it could be something like a guy that's on the fringe, like, yeah, okay, the money's straight, but I don't know if I'm gonna go. And then he look up and say, dang, he had 2 dogs and they got rid of him and they went to some good spots. It's like, so, okay, if I do well by him and I'm a consummate pro, maybe at the end of my career, I may be allowed to go and fight for a chip or something. So,
okay. Yeah. Hey, since we're talking about that, we had talked about a few days ago about players. I guess we'll briefly go over this. Plankett brought it up. Players that we're still paying for that are still on this team. And I believe
that's not on this team.
Yeah, I'm sorry, that's not on this team. Right.
That's not on this team.
So even with Robert Quinn, we'll start out with him. You basically paid him to go play for somebody else, because I believe the Bears are taking a 17 million dead cap hit, and they picked up, what was his salary, about
7
million?
Yeah. The remainder of it is like 7.5 or something like that they pay for the rest of the year. It's like 7.5 that they paying for the rest of the year. But yeah, it was big. It was big.
Okay. Hey, let's bring up this here and
Wow.
hopefully, can y'all see that or do I need to make it bigger?
No,
No,
we can see it.
Okay.
Ooh, I had a joke in there.
Hey, one of y'all want to take it? What you see?
I'll take it, Bernard. One of the things that I wanted to do was let's try to get some factual information to illustrate some of the tropes that are out there talking about the Bears being cheap and not paying players and all of that. It's pretty clear here that the Bears are not cheap. Khalil Mack, we were paying him. We took a cap hit of $24 million
That's a lot
for
of
him
money.
to play for the Bears. If anybody can recall, when Khalil Mack got added to the Bears roster, we made him the highest paid defensive player in the NFL.
Yep.
Nick Foles
Yep.
is being paid almost $8 million a year to play for another team.
And not only
Goldman,
that, hold on, real quick. I just want to say with the Nick Foles thing, guess what? The Colts are starting Sam Ellinger over Nick Foles.
Right, they didn't decide to go for Foles, and that's almost an $8 million hit. Eddie Goldman is a $5 million hit. He retired
At the crib.
So look at now. Khalil Mack still had some game left in him. However, he's getting up there in age. Nick Foles offers pretty much nothing to anybody as a starting quarterback, but he'll be a decent backup in case somebody get hurt and everybody else falls out the stands or whatever. Eddie Goldman is at home eating bonbons. Andy Dalton, the red rocket or red rifle, whatever we were calling him, he's getting paid $5 million to play for the New Orleans Saints.
I think he just turned the ball over 3 times in the last game.
Well,
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Andy Dalton did pretty well. He threw 5 touchdowns in that game. 2 of them were for the other team, but that's right.
Hey.
He still got the 5 touchdowns. Let's keep rolling it down. Jimmy Graham, almost $5 million a year against the cap.
He's somewhere in that undisclosed location with Tammy at the bar buying drinks for everybody.
Now, this was one that was really surprising to me.
Yeah.
Tariq Cohen
Yeah.
hasn't played for the Bears in almost 3 years.
Yep.
And he's still causing a cap hit of $4 million. Charles Leno.
Hey, Plank. Plank.
What you got? What you got?
And they're paying Tariq Cohen $2.5 million this year, because if you look in the salaries column, that's the salary that the Bears are eating up this year. Robert Quinn, they took on part of his is lower than the number that's on here, but when you don't see like the salary on there, but in his case you see the salary, so they're taking a dead cap hit and a salary, but he's still paying the salary.
Oh Lord.
We're paying Charles Leno almost $3 million, and he just got re-signed to a bigger contract in Washington. So if nothing else, and let's not even talk about Danny Trevathan. So the Bears are actually they were saddled with all of these cap hits that we've been paying towards players that aren't part of our future. So when Ryan Poles came in here, think about what he had to face. He's looking at 5 draft choices, not a number 1 draft choice. The cap hit where he's paying all of these players that are aging, that are no longer valuable with this team going forward. And he didn't have a whole lot of other capital. So he had to change the culture. He had to work against the tremendous hole that Ryan Pace put him in. Oh my goodness, that is just ridiculous. So I wanted to make sure that we had some quantifiable evidence so we can look to see, 1, again, the Bears aren't cheap. 2, what a good job Ryan Poles is really doing, because sometimes it's really hard to see. So I just wanted to make sure we can illustrate.
Yeah.
that.
Also, Plank, I want to add, when you look at the dead cap hits, the Bears basically have about $6.9 million in cap space. So I'm not sure at times what player this big player that this year that people thought he was gonna bring in for 6.9. I don't know, Jay. Did you have any idea? Because that's about where it was at, right? About 6.9.
Yeah, and you really, he brought in what he could brought. He brought in what he brought in. He brought in a Dante Pettis and a and a Equimedius St. Brown and a Byron Pringle. He brought in what he can bring in because those are the only people that you can pay. You know, people talk about what people need to understand is the situation as Keith just explained and where we are at this point. And this illusion of, oh my God, the Bears beat San Francisco. Oh my God, the Bears are actually pretty good. We really not, because we have no talent. And that's the thing. There's no talent on this team. The talent is so mediocre because, and I know I'm going to go off real quick. Just let me explain. Just let me explain. Larry Borum is out with a concussion. Riley Reef is going to start in his place. Larry Borum is a 5th-round draft pick, so he's essentially a replacement player who's being replaced by a replacement player. and Ryan, people don't get it. I want y'all to understand there is no talent on this team. We're just filling positions. Everybody on this team is a replacement player. When it comes outside of our running backs, replacement players. Outside our running backs and Roquan Smith. That's it. And Justin Fields. That's it. That's
Jay,
it.
I would argue with you on one point. Braxton Jones, and let me give you some information to illustrate this. He's a 5th-round draft choice.
Yes, he is.
And he is outperforming Evan Neal, who was the 7th draft choice, thought to be a franchise player, and Charles Cross. So there's at least 2 guys that were picked as what was thought to be franchise playing offensive tackles that he has better numbers than. So that's why a lot of times people are looking at Braxton Jones and they're like, man, this guy's doing really well. What we see is every time he's giving up a sack or what have you, we're not realizing, look at what he's doing versus what the other rookies are doing or some of the other these replacements would be. So we have to kind of put that in context. What you got, Jay?
And I'm okay with that. What I want people to understand is the Bears are starting 2 5th-round tackles.
Yeah.
Name anybody in the league that's starting a 2nd-round, 5th-round tackle and a rookie on the blind side of your quarterback as a starter. That's all I'm trying to reiterate. You know, because the bottom line is, again, I've said it from the beginning, this is the developmental year, which is why I changed my mind about the Village Jones thing, but that's another story. And you know, Braxton Jones has given up 6 sacks, and they haven't replaced him. But the bottom line is, don't replace him, because if this is a developmental season, we got to see through 8 games. Through 7 games, he's given up 6 sacks. Okay, it's 11 games left. How many sacks are you going to give up in the 11 games? It's a developmental season. We got to see what's going to happen. So just leave it out there. The only thing I hate about that is, and I'm contradicting myself, is that you putting your quarterback in a bad situation.
Yeah.
Right.
But at the same time is, if you're going to develop players, put them out there, play them, and develop them.
And the money is just not there.
Coming to this season, also the Bears had about 20, I think somewhere between 24 to 26 free agents as well. So that's a mess.
And 15 rookies. They got 15 rookies.
Yeah.
On their team.
To that point, when I'm talking about Braxton Jones is outperforming a couple 1st-round draft choices, Evan Neal is getting a 47.9 run blocking game grade. Charles Cross, 55.6. Braxton Jones, 77.0 run. So when you're looking at, how the Bears ended up having the #1 rushing offense in the NFL. I know this it's hard to sink in. The Bears are out rushing every other team in the NFL. Why? Because the coaches have a good idea of what they're doing, and these guys are overperforming their talent level and their draft level. So,
and I agree. Did y'all see that? Did y'all see that block on on what's the Khalil Herbert's the screen pass? Did y'all see that block that Bryson Jones had? That dude went from the 10. That dude went from the 10 to the 2 on the block. So I get it. I get it. And that's what Bears fans need to understand. But I tell y'all, Bears fans are so dumb that they just, they ain't doing this. They ain't doing break it down. And y'all want to look at wins and losses, but y'all not looking at what's actually happening.
And
it's an evolution. It's an evolution. And y'all got to let the evolution happen. I know we've been waiting for years. I swear to God, we've been waiting for years. But at the same time, y'all got to let the evolution happen.
Yeah, because I always say this argument is I'm just gonna start with 2007 as a beginning point, right? Because we could go back farther than that if we want to.
Right.
After that Super Bowl loss with Grossman, you know what? All we need is a quarterback, right? Mm-hmm. Then we trade and get a quarterback, and we said, man, we need some linemen because now these guys have got old. Man, you know what? We get some linemen and say, man, you know what? We need a top receiver, right? And we get Marshall. Then we say, man, you know what? It's the coach's fault. Let's just get rid of Lovie Smith, right? So you get a coach, and then you say, you know what? It ain't the coach's fault. It's the general manager's fault, right? So you get the general manager, and then you realize, you know what? Maybe Cutler may not be the guy. Let's get another quarterback to replace him, and let's get a new coach. Guess what? That coach didn't work, so you fire him 2 years in. So really what people confuse is they confuse that with rebuilding. That's not rebuilding.
That's not rebuild. Right.
Yeah, right. That's actually plugging and playing.
Plug and play
because you keep feeling you're close. So you changing. It's like the 3-card Molly game, right?
Right.
Trying to figure out where's the red card at, right? And you getting hustled the whole time, right? But anyway, let's move to the game from last night, and then we'll move on to some other NFL stuff, and then we'll move into the Bears and Dallas game.
You talking about the most expensive game in the history of football? Why? Because Tom Brady, they announced their divorce today. It was the most expensive game in the history of the NFL. So, man, I was looking at that game, and I'm like, you know what? I love Tom Brady. Tom Brady is 1 year too far gone, man. Tom should have just stayed out last year because they looked terrible. The only thing that I saw Fournette run over a couple people. Outside of that, the Ravens didn't even play all that great, and they beat them. And
you know what? The thing I don't like too is, much as I've been cheering for Todd Bowles, I was concerned about that he was going to get a team like this, right? Because of so many moving parts. You actually did have issues with the line coming into the season. You lost some key players like Gronk. As much as we laugh about AB is a hell of a receiver. So you lost him, AB, Honey Badger, right? You lost some key people in Tom Brady. As much as I love him, he looks old. And now he's starting to blame people, right? He's starting to point and holler at players. Like, no, dude, I seen one play through last night. It was a screen, and he's getting mad. I'm like, no, dude, you threw that ball in the dirt.
That wide open touchdown. Remember that wide open touchdown? He threw it. He lobbed it up. I'm like, that ain't the Tom I know. And I'm not trying to dog a dude out. I really think what happened with Tampa Bay, because at the end when he decided he was going to retire, they were like, sell. I'm coming back. Whoa, wait. Hold on. We can't get him back. Let's get this guy. I believe they would have been a better team if Tom had just said at the end of the season, you know what, I'm surely coming back. When it was kind of that great area, like, I'm done. I'm not doing this. I'm retiring. And I think guys were trying to sort of sell off to kind of see what they could do. And to be perfectly honest with you, with this squad right here,
Y'all some
It's like Keith said.
smart people. Y'all some smart people because I was talking about Julio Jones 2 years ago, and Jay said he's old, and he can't even stay on the field.
How'd he look last night? Old.
Hey,
Hey,
Keith always said the best. Plank said all the time, Father Time is undefeated. He's undefeated. And I'm going to tell y'all, watching the game last night, Brady is done. Father Time has caught up with him, and I just hate that he is the GOAT at the quarterback position in the NFL. But you going out on a sour note, and it didn't even have to be like this, dude. Dude, just you got 7 rings. What the hell are you? Excuse my language. What the hell are y'all? You trying to prove? You got 7 rings. You got 7 rings.
Unfortunately, I think it did have to be like this because sometimes it's hard for people.
You're right.
Have visibility and understanding until they get trampled over and all those other things. Leave whatever you got out there on the field, and you ain't got to worry about Tom Brady talking about coming back in another 10 years as a kicker or something like that. So it's hard to see him go through that, but nobody taking those 7 titles that he got away either.
No, but you know what? Also, too, I mean,
it's hard to watch though. It's hard to watch, man. Last night that was hard to watch because, like I said, he was throwing balls on the ground. Yeah. He was overthrowing people. Yeah, that was hard to watch last night.
That first touchdown, and it wasn't like a crazy. It was like your boy was wide open, and he just lobbed it. As soon as I was like, "Man, dude is wide." It's like, oh, but. You know what? If you look at your workplace, look at somebody that's been in the workplace for 30 years. They done made all the money they can make. They good. They 401k is nice. House paid for, car paid for, kids all through school. Everything is gravy. You can retire. But psychologically, they're like, I don't really want to retire. And then when they do retire, they don't have a plan afterwards. Not saying that Tom Brady does, but they're not there. They're not there because they need to be. They're there because they want to be. And I think that Tom Brady's competitive spirit, I bet you one thing after this game, I bet you sit up here thinking about Sao Paulo. Like, man, I'm about to get divorced. I'm about to
that ain't gonna be
stuff.
Me.
I think he gone for good this time, though. I think he's
that ain't gonna be me.
No, it ain't gonna be me either. When I retire,
when I retire, I'm retiring.
I would drive past my job and wave every morning for a year just to say, hey, y'all, you know.
Man.
2 for 2. But yeah, some people just can't, man. I mean, look at all the great. I mean, and not just 2 for 2. Go for it.
Oh, go ahead. You can finish.
Now I say, like the great. Look at Michael Jordan. Same thing. He came back. He did good. He couldn't stay away. Look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady, the same thing. Gronk was smart enough to keep coming back. Like, man, I'm 30 years old. You mean to say I could wake up and have me a drink? I can have me a drink and get drunk and wake up tomorrow and got to have a job and I got a pocket full of money, some Super Bowl rings, deuces.
But why is it always the exceptional athletes?
Because they're eccentric.
Like they got to keep going.
They're eccentric.
It's like, what do you have to prove? And guy, you mentioned like Michael Jordan. What do you got to prove, dude? You got 6 rings.
But
you got 6 rings. 3. You had 2 3-peats back to back. What do you have to prove, Tom Brady? What do you have to prove, man? You have nothing to prove, man.
Who's a better quarterback? Who's considered the greatest quarterback right now? Tom Brady. Everybody look at him. He's like the gold standard. Michael Jordan, gold standard. Guys like that. You have to. It's something you look at them. It's like, oh, well, they can do this. Some guys may not have the physical capabilities, but the cerebral part of it, they're so much far ahead of everybody. They're probably thinking about 10, 11 different things. But what happens is sometimes them dudes can't cut it off, man. Okay. I would never know what it's like. I ain't smart enough.
Let me give you a walk down memory lane or a walk down reality, okay? Right now, I'm 57 years old. Any luck, I'll be 58 next month. Every cell in your body regenerates and replaces itself in about 7 years, okay? What that means is what I used to do when I was 21 years old, every cell has changed and regenerated except my brain cells for the most part. So I still can remember getting there and running fast and doing all these other things. But the truth of it is, that was 5 people ago. That was
Right.
over
Right.
5 years. So,
Right.
when I was
People
running
ago.
fast and tackling people, that was 5 people ago. Trust me,
Right.
I can't do it now. But my
Right.
mind thinks that I can. So that's what all of us all of us men have to go through. Eventually, you're thinking, man, come over now, me and you, we go out there and let's tackle some people. Man, I hurt my toe walking up the stairs yesterday.
Right.
Man.
Right.
Hey, let's get ready for
For
2
two.
for 2.
2 for 2.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, hey, anybody got a 2 for 2 now? Your top 2 teams and your bottom 2 teams.
Well, my top two again is still going to be Buffalo and Kansas City. I mean, until somebody prove me otherwise, that it is what it is. My bottom 2 is going to be Detroit and still Carolina, even though they beat Tom Brady and them last week. I mean, they still a bad football team. And the trade deadline is next Tuesday, so they still might wind up selling off some players. But those are my top 2 and my bottom 2.
Okay, who else got a 2 for 2?
I'm
My
going
top
with
2.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead, guy.
No, hey, beauty before age, man.
I love y'all. I love y'all.
My top 2 are going to be the Eagles and the Bills, because the Eagles just got Robert Quinn. These guys are playing with house money. They getting better and better, and they building something special. My bottom 2 are the Lions. We keep forgetting that the Lions out there, and the Bears got to play them twice. And the Steelers. And the Steelers had to play the Eagles.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a massacre.
Yeah.
I hope Mitch Trubisky don't get in that game some kind of way, but yeah, they pretty far apart.
You got a 2 for 2 guy?
Top, Eagles and Chiefs. Bottom, Lions and Steelers.
Okay. Hey, my 2 for 2. My top is the Eagles and the Chiefs, and my bottom are the Lions and the Texans.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's still the Texans still in the they're still in the hunt. They're still in the hunt for the first round draft.
I almost put Tampa Bay at the bottom after last night.
The Lions have won one game, right? They've only won one game.
One game.
Yes, and guess what? They came in as the highest scoring team after week 4. They've scored 6 points in the last 2 weeks. That's why I tell people the NFL is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon.
Yeah, that's what happened a lot of times where we start making conclusions off of 1 or 2 games. Like a quarterback come out as a rookie, his first game, he lighted up people like, oh man, he's the next coming or whoever they want to name. Then the rest of the season sucked. And I remember seeing several posts where people was like, man, the Lions are better than the Bears. The Lions are better than the Bears.
No, they're not.
Right?
No, they're not.
Until they stopped saying the Lions was losing. So they don't have anything else to say. Hold on, let me plug my thing up before.
Wait, who was that? Who was the quarterback of the Patriots that they just put in the Hall of Fame after that first quarter?
Zappy Bailey. Zappy Bailey.
Zappy.
Right. Oh,
It's
look how
Zappy
great
hour.
Zappy is your happy.
Yeah, guess what? Dude, you a 4th round rookie. You're a 4th round rookie from Western Kentucky. You're not that good. You're not that good.
They talked about how he threw for 6,000 yards and 60 touchdowns or whatever, and he also threw for like 35 interceptions. So he's doing exactly what he's been doing then.
But you know what? It's a big difference between a college team and an NFL team looking like they run a cover 0 and they drop it to a cover 2 on you real quick.
And again, like I said, he played at Western Kentucky. This wasn't no Alabama, SEC, ACC type guy. You know what I'm saying? So people don't realize that college competition that you play against, it does count, because when you get to the NFL, it's almost like you making 2 jumps. You making a jump from Division 2 to Division 1 to the NFL. So that's like 2 jumps. It's not like, okay, I'm coming from Alabama and I'm going into the NFL. That's 1 step. That's 2 steps that you taking, and it just so. But I give what's Allen, the defense coordinator for the Bears. I give him so much credit because when I tell Allen, I give him so much credit, man, because this dude, when I tell you his second half adjustments are second to none.
Right.
Oh God, man.
The Bears didn't give up 8 touchdowns. The Patriots scored 14 points in the second quarter, and they didn't score again for the rest of the night.
Mm-hmm.
That's shutdown.
That's big in the NFL. That does not happen in the NFL very often. It does not happen in the NFL.
But then
very
too,
often.
when they give all these kudos, I mean, it's on both sides of the ball. They get a guy say he's the best thing since sliced bread, then they get a guy like Justin Fields come in saying he doesn't know what he's doing. I'm like, y'all got to understand something. I don't care what team it is. It can even be the Lions. You got to think everybody that's on the playing field, the difference between an NFL team and Alabama is school. You go into class in college, you might have the greatest football team in the nation. You got class, you got sock hops, you got all types of stuff. In football, you do this as a pro. This is what you do. You eat, drink, and sleep this. And in order to show up, you got to show that you're the best in the world at it. So you get a rookie guy that come out here and nobody's seen him. It's just like with baseball, man. You will see a guy, a rookie pitcher come in. Only every blue moon you see a rookie come in and just be great throughout. That first go round when they go through a team, it's like, oh, he struck out 12 dudes. Then the next game, you just swear going to strike out 12 guys and give up 20 runs. That's what they do. They're professionals.
So, hey, anybody got any games of the week this week? My game of the week is actually going to be this game here, the Bears against Dallas. Anybody else got any games of the week besides this game?
I do.
Bills versus Packers.
Yeah, I want to see the Packers get dog walked. That's
oh, praise the Lord, praise the Lord.
2 weeks in a row, right?
All I want to see is the Packers get dog walked, and that's a nationally televised game. I just want to see the Bills dog walk the Packers. So
and they got to score 40 points.
That's my game of the week as well.
You know who I got? I want to see the 49ers and the Rams, man. You got a 3-3 team, 3-4 team. Both these teams are supposed to be the world beaters, and they just like everybody else now. I just want to see whoever wins that game, because whoever wins that game, although it is at the Rams, whoever wins that game has at least a little of a window of doing something. Whoever loses, I think they just done.
And guess what? No Deebo Samuel, no huge check for the 49ers. Hey, that's why I love the NFL, because guess what? Seattle running away. They're running away with the
They have Christian McCaffrey.
They're running away with Seattle. Seattle with Geno is running away.
Defending Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams. We forgot that they're the champs.
Right.
Because we know they're not getting there this year.
Right. Geno Smith rejuvenated. I love it.
Could you imagine, like, if you could get in his psyche and look at Russell Wilson, you see that meme of that little boy looking out the window with tears in his eyes, just like crying, like, that should have been me.
That should have been me.
Oh, bro, you could have stayed there. Y'all been
Don't get me started about that, brother. He's stretching on a plane.
Hey, Russell, something else. Hey, let's talk about what is the keys to victory. We just came off a victory this past week on Monday night against the Patriots, and you know, I know other than Jay don't know what the four of us that had selected the Patriots, and I would say that was the first complete game by the whole team to me. So I don't know if that means that's something to build on, or was that just flashes. But I mean, what can we carry over from that game that'll be keys to a victory against this Dallas team?
A whole lot.
A whole lot.
Because everybody thought y'all wasn't going to be no good. Y'all suck. Y'all can't win. You can't do this. Justin Fields ain't do that. Not only did they go in one of the most prestigious and hardest to play places and they dog walk the squad, I don't care what their record is. They just basically showed that they can go in a very tough environment with what they got and they can do well. All they need to do is keep their head in check and execute. The other thing that they can do too is realize that they got something that they can stomp on. If the pass is kind of shoddy, just give somebody the ball and step out the way. You know, they have a lot to go on because every time it seems like they expect them to be like getting beat down and they're not all that good. And it seems like the coaching staff is doing a real good job of keeping all that endless chat out their ears to let them know that like what he said, Flu said in the speech, he was like, you know what, you playing for the man next to you. And I think that resonates, man. They're able to block that stuff out and just play some football.
Okay. When you playing against a defense that's got track stars on defense at defensive end, what you do is you run right at them.
Yep.
And that's what they got to do. Yep. They have to run right at Parsons. Run right at him. Him and DeMarcus Lawrence, you just run at them. You just run at them because what you can do is you can have them over pursue because all they thinking about is getting to the quarterback. And if you can keep this game tight, because the only way you feast on getting to the quarterback is your team got a lead.
Yep.
If you don't let Dallas have a lead where all they got to do now is feast at the quarterback, y'all got a chance. And with the number one rush offense in the NFL, the Bears got a chance. They got a chance. And that's what they got to do. They have to continue to do what they've been doing, and that's run the football. And you run the football at the most dominant defensive end right now in the NFL. You run it right at him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just run it right at him. What do you think, Guy? Plank, I'm sorry. What we do in this game?
Well, first of all, I think Justin Fields, what we're seeing in his improvement is actually something that's qualifiable that we can actually see from week to week. We think it just happened in the last game, but he's been progressing for the last 4 or 5 games consistently.
Incremental process.
Absolutely.
Incremental process.
What we need to do is take that number one rushing offense and do exactly what Jay just described. If you've got this dynamic defensive end that's running a 4-3 and all that, introduce them to Tevin Jenkins and hit him in the mouth. So you need to, in some places, just run the ball right at them. We need to run the ball, play good defense. It almost takes me back to the days when I played Park District football. That's when we were running the wishbone offense of the veer, and you never even knew who had the ball. So as a defensive player, you'd be letting 2 or 3 guys go past and hoping you tackling the guy that has the ball. So that's what Justin Fields as a ball carrier actually adds to our offense as part of the RPO. Defense got to continue to do what we're doing. Our corners, our DBs need to continue to lock down people, and we got to bring that run defense, that run offense. And I think we got a good chance. We're definitely not 10-point underdogs in this game. I don't care what.
No, we're not.
Yeah, I think the Bears have to definitely stick with their strengths, running the ball, get Justin on the move like they did in the previous game, have design runs for him, feature Cole Kmet a little bit more, get him going right away, get Cole Kmet some touches, and like Jay said, run at those guys. I mean, Plank and Guy would know as martial artists, you use their aggressiveness against themselves, right? And you start running their way or running screens their direction or whatever, and it started making them hesitate, right? Because they just ran past a run play, right? And so now they're like, oh wow, let me stop.
Right.
But you know what? I want to bring up some a few stats that I know when we watch teams from a distance, and you kind of hear about teams, and you kind of sometimes give them more credit than what they actually
deserve.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Correct. So if you look at both of these teams have pretty good defenses. Dallas defense is ranked 6th overall and the Bears defense is ranked 12th. Dallas defense give up 14.9 points a game, and the Bears defense give up 18.9 points a game. The Bears offense, believe this or not, the Bears offense is ranked. Hold on, I just had it here. The Bears offense is ranked 28, and Dallas is ranked 29.
Oh,
The Dallas offense is actually ranked lower than the Bears offense. They actually do average only 1.1 points more than the Bears. The Bears offense averages 18 points a game. Dallas offense averages 19 points a game, which the last game actually helped them offensively.
Right.
Because they ended up, I want to say in that game, it might have been 10, what's it like 10-3 going into the fourth? It was something real low. And then Detroit turned the ball over a few times, and that's why the score looked a little better than actually the game was being played out, because Dallas offense was not clicking in that game. They actually were struggling through into the fourth quarter to beat Detroit. So I just want to put that caveat out there that their offense is actually ranked. And you know, and I guess as much as the Bears offense have been maligned, there are actually teams who have worse offenses than the Bears, and those teams are, hold on, let me pull that up. Hold on, my screen is freezing on me. Okay, I'll come back to it.
Isn't Parsons considered a strong side linebacker?
I believe he's a will.
He's a 4-3,
I think he's a will. Yeah, I believe he's a will. Man, but they play him all over the place. They play him all over the place.
Have a tight end go in motion, have him go over to the right side, and have him run straight over there, and have somebody trip Tevin Jenkins pancake him about 3 or 4 times.
Don't get me wrong. Michael Parsons he's a beast.
He is a dog.
He's a beast.
He is a dog.
When you play the way he play, he does over pursue a lot of times, because his whole thing is, I'm getting to the quarterback. I'm getting to the quarterback. I'm getting to the quarterback.
And if you can injure too,
he actually is on the injury report. He's actually on the injury report.
Oh, he gonna play. We know he gonna play.
But he's gonna play. He's on the injury report, but he's gonna play. But like I say, I just really think my thing is that type of player, you run right at them, and he's gonna take himself out the game. That's how you neutralize a person like Michael Parsons.
His shoulder is questionable for Sunday's matchup.
Yeah, that's what it was. It's his shoulder.
32 tackles, 8 sacks, 2 forced fumbles.
Well, he made a comment that he's much faster than Justin Fields, and it's not even close or whatever. This doesn't come down to a race between you two guys.
Yeah, right.
Justin Fields is playing quarterback, so it comes down to way more than who's the fastest. It's who can design the best plays and who is the best coach team. It's interesting that Dallas, especially, I looked at them last year, and now it's like the narrative has changed a little bit. Dallas, their coaches were looked at as one of the weak points of their team last year.
Well, I mean, well, you know, Mike McCarthy, I've never been a fan. You know, I've never been a big Mike McCarthy fan, because I think he's just been an overrated coach, because he coached all those years in Green Bay and he had Aaron Rodgers. So, you know, he's never been, to me, he's never been high on my, like, oh my God, he's a coach and he's going to out-coach us. And so he's never been that to me. But this is a game I just really feel like, you know, once again, I'm an optimist. If everything go right, the Bears could actually be in this game. I just, at this point of the season, I just don't see this team getting blown out by anybody just because of the way they play. I just don't see it.
Yeah. Let me share this information, because I think my screen, I had froze, right? Is that what had happened? Because I'm not going to. Okay. Yeah. The team's offense that are ranked behind the Chicago Bears is the Dallas Cowboys, Pittsburgh Steelers, Tennessee Titans, and the Carolina Panthers is dead last.
And actually, the Bears are better than all three of them.
The teams that barely have any better offense production than us are the Rams,
right,
and the Falcons.
Right. So go figure.
Go figure.
Go figure. Go figure.
Wow.
It depends on how
The
this
champs.
game could come out.
The
We may
champs.
overtake both teams.
Right. Right. The champs.
There you go.
Hey, so
Super Bowl champs.
Let's move on to. So we know what the keys to victory is going to be. Is anybody ready to go to your predictions, or you want to look at some more things before we get to the predictions?
Let's get it. No, my prediction is like I did last week. For some reason, I'm feeling it. I'm picking the Bears again this week. 23-20. I think it's gonna come down to a Cairo Santos field goal. I think the crowd is gonna be hyped, and it's gonna be half and half. And I still say, and I'm gonna be looking that Dallas is gonna wind up going to a silent count because it's so many Chicago Bear fans in Dallas right now. And I'm predicting it's gonna come down to a Cairo Santos field goal, 23-20 Bears.
Okay. I'll go with mine. I'm with you, Jay, this week. I was pessimistic last week, but I'm gonna be optimistic this week. So I'm going the Bears 24, and for some reason 18 kept popping in my mind for Dallas, so I'm just gonna say 18. I know the only way you could get 18 is what, 5 field goals. So I guess
or a couple of missed extra points.
That's right.
Can happen.
Okay. 18 is the only thing you can get and not get arrested. For some
one of the things y'all notice about me is my scores and my record for the year look strangely like the Bears' record for the year. So I'm a homer. I'm going for the Bears. I think I'm in this game. I got the Bears 26, the Cowboys 20. So I think we're gonna bring it to them and hit them in the mouth in their house.
Okay. All right. Hey, guy.
24-20. Bears.
Oh, you picking the Bears? Oh, okay.
My squares out there. My guys out there, man. And I know we gonna represent there. Jay, you said you saw them people from Chicago out there. You know, I know some people got some contrabands on that airplane. So you know something on that.
Man.
What you say that score was? What you say about my mama?
They was deep. They was deep this morning. I was just like, I was jealous. I was like, wow. I was like, okay. I was like, darn, I gotta go to work. But I'm like, whoa. They was deep this morning. They was at Midway Southwest this morning deep. For real.
For me, if the Cowboys undefeated, I still gotta go against because I don't like the Cowboys. But neither here nor there, no Ezekiel Elliott. And that's one of the weak points of our defense is our run. Our pass defense is great. Micah Parsons is who he is, but he's only one dude. I just think I just gonna get surprised because they going in there like kid. They ain't like it. They like deers and headlights. The Bears like, okay, we going to go play another team and we just gonna win. We ain't scared of nobody.
And I just think.
Go ahead, guy. Go ahead, Jay.
And I just think, with the national media, everything I've been hearing, they were talking, oh, well, the Bears can't do this, the Bears can't. I just look at the matchup. Mm-hmm. I look at matchups, and that's what people don't look at. They be like, well, the Cowboys are better than the Bears. Okay, in what scenario? In what scenario are they better than the Bears? Even we don't have the best talent on our team, but our team is a team, and they play within a team. Mm-hmm. And that's what I look at. And at this point, I can't see them not being able to possibly go to Dallas on the road like they did last week in Foxborough and beat the Dallas Cowboys. Because the Dallas Cowboys, again, to me, they are not world beaters. Like you said, they're averaging, 19 points a game? Yeah. That doesn't really scare me. Especially we only giving up 14 points a game. Right. So it doesn't scare me.
Right.
Well, first of all, I don't feel sorry for Jerry Jones because he's a billionaire.
Me neither.
Me neither. But now that Robert Quinn is no longer with the Bears, I have to talk about Ezekiel Elliott for the Stealing Money Award.
Stealing money.
The MVP.
$2 million per yard. It's
Yep.
ridiculous.
Yep.
Ever since that second year when he was always feed me, he
Yep.
overate,
Yep.
and now he done lost himself. And I don't even know
Wait,
if
so
he's
he overate?
But even if he did play in the game, I'm not really worried about him. I'm really not. He hasn't shown me anything in the last 3 years. So Ezekiel Elliott, you get the Stealing Money Award. Keep that car running. Go in the back with that mask on and see how it works out.
Hey,
when I saw
I
him, man,
need to get a little symbol with a JPEG file with a hand reaching in a purse.
Yup.
Put the Stealing Money symbol up.
Yep.
Or a gun
But I agree.
and a hand like this.
But I agree because that was one of the worst things that Jerry Jones did. He caved in. He caved in to Ezekiel Elliott and gave him that money.
And he got off that plane after he made that money like that. And I remember when he scored, when he was doing that touchdown, he took his shirt off and said, "Feed me," and you can see his stomach. I'm like, you already ate. You just ate somebody. You ate somebody. What you mean, feed me? Didn't you just eat?
Well, I thought he got pregnant after that. So, I mean, something happened.
Hey. But he said it was a tumor.
He got the 2 pink lines on that test.
Yeah. Right.
Some people are like, what do you mean? 2 pink lines.
Yeah. We'll say that. Say that.
Hey, but looking at the record, let's go over that real quick. Jay is 5-2, Guy 3-4, Quick 3-4, 3-4. In fact, all is 3-4 now, other than
We
Jay.
look like the NFL.
Yeah.
Right. There you go. There it is. Parody amongst his best.
Except old Mr. Kansas City Buffalo Bills down there. Jay.
Right.
Hey, I just call it how I see it.
Man. You know what's something I do too, man, and people may think it's strange when I look at teams like that. A lot of times I will look at the numbers, but at certain points I go away from it and I ask myself a question. At the current state of that team, how would they play in our division? And when I look at how they think about how they play in our division, then I kind of have somewhat of a better assessment because I know that, players, we play differently outside of our division and all that stuff. But by the same token, I was saying today, I was like, if Dallas was in our division right now, they wouldn't be 5-2. They definitely wouldn't be 5-2. Not with, you got your guys, but with Ezekiel Elliott, especially if he came to Chicago, we had to see him twice, man. Ezekiel Elliott be on the injured reserve. He was like, he was at Lou Malnati's handcuffed to the back door or something. He was up at one of the strip clubs or he was listening to house music or he was up at the Bean and, all that type of stuff.
You don't understand his backup. What's his name? Pollard?
Pollard.
Yeah,
Pollard.
He's decent.
Yeah, he is.
It said he has never carried a ball more than 14 times
in a game. Which is what I said earlier. Like, it'd be interesting to see if Ezekiel Elliott don't play, how he's going to shoulder the load because he's never been a bell cow, as they say. He's never been a bell cow. So how is he going to shoulder? How is he going to carry the load? And who is his backup? So does that mean Dak gonna throw a little bit more? And I'm for that. Get Dak out there throwing the ball because guess what? Our secondary can challenge you. And, you got CeeDee Lamb, you got Michael Gallup, you got these guys, but shout out, and I can't think of his name. I hate it. I can't think of his name. But they got a rookie from Western Illinois that's actually starting on their team as a wide receiver. And I can't think of his name. I want to say his last name is Brown, I think. But shout out to him just because we're alumni. Just because we're alumni.
Hey, but they can't be sold on that just because Pollard's only had 14 carries or he ain't no Ezekiel Elliott. Not saying that he is, but they can't go in there and just say, "Oh, we good now," because it don't work like that.
No. I'm not saying that.
No, I know
I'm just saying.
No, I know
How was Pollard going to shoulder the load because he's never been a bell cow. He's never been a featured back. So
Right.
with Zeke not playing, how is they going to balance their offense? What's going to happen? What's going to happen with their offense? So
Right.
Oh, there's Houston.
Keep in mind, Dak Prescott is still coming off that horrendous injury.
and he's still
You're not
coming
him
off the injury.
running and doing those kind of
Hey,
things.
y'all Western, y'all Leatherneck brother's name is Dennis Houston.
Dennis Houston, that's his
Oh,
name.
Dennis, okay.
That's
Okay.
Dennis Houston.
Okay.
And he's a
Okay.
rookie.
No, but all I was saying was, no, I wasn't going. What I was saying is, I think a lot of times what teams do is like you got this beast, man. Ezekiel's been doing this thing. Oh, he hurt. I don't care who we got. We gonna do. You know what I'm saying? A lot of some guys would get that mentality, but if they go in there with a professional mentality, saying, man, I pretend I don't care if Ezekiel in there. I pretend the next guy up is better than him. And if
But
they
this ain't
go in
their
there
team,
that,
though.
they gonna be all right. No, I don't think so either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this ain't their team. The bottom line is, I like Eberflus, and I like Getsy, and I like Allen, the coordinator Williams, because the bottom line is the Bears, which we haven't seen in a long time, the Bears are prepared.
Imagine
And that's
that.
what we haven't seen in a long time. They come prepared. And I like that. And I like that. There's nothing like preparation, man.
Okay.
Yep.
Hey, if anybody else don't have anything to say, I'm gonna ready to close out. And like, if you're watching out there on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. If you're on Facebook, join the Bears Banter Talk Show group. Until Sunday, peace.
Peace.
Peace.